Because yeah, I was having that too a while ago, and I just went a couple of versions one way and fixed it. For me, with that Gorilla Mods car that we're going to be using soon, or the version I got, the latest version of Shaders Patch, the sounds were all fucked. And then I went back a couple and it fixed them.
Ah, yeah, gotcha.
Just
Got a little drive of those earlier. Should be fun. I should be able to do probably half the rounds, I think, for the GT4s. See how I go.
Yep.
just started streaming.
Oh. Copy that.
Anyone done a fuel count? I haven't.
Probably close to a full tank from what I calculated.
Doc, for me, we'll get 15 laps. The race will be 12 and a half plus one.
It's only a 18 litre tank and you'll probably use up about 13 or 14 litres.
Boy, Steve, that wasn't meant to be a dive under you there.
Nah, mate, I'm out of control.
Before I ever knew what had happened, I was next to you. Oh, I am, baby.
Pillars, you're a cruel man. I've just noticed it's a is it top 8 reverse grid?
Oh, one poor sucker.
Never the intention, it's always the intentions for you half the field.
Oh well, something to fight for.
So I just discovered a thing that I'm sure a lot of people probably know, but in case anyone doesn't. SimHub can do awesome overlays, right? But I just found one that is basically just a little flag box, like what a lot of people have physical versions of in their sim setups or what real cars have. But you can put it, and it's always over the top of Assetto. So for me, I've got it sitting in like the bottom right corner. And when yellow flags or blue flags or whatever go off, it's ridiculously bright in your face and you can see it, but it's not in the way for anything else. And you can set it so it just always loads when you start the sim and always starts in the same spot, same size and everything. Anyway, that's my advertisement for that I'm not getting money for.
Is that what's through Lovely dashboard?
Nah, through SimDash, just separate, SimHub separate to Lovely.
Now just need games that properly implement your
But Jem,
Yeah,
when has anyone ever slowed down for a yellow flag ever? Don't you speed up and try and take 5 positions?
Very true. Just did a guy that about the 6 hours did that, nearly killed himself. Fuck.
Yesterday, you know.
Yesterday or this morning?
Yesterday there was like a 5-car pile up on the support categories. Unless something else happened this morning that I missed.
I think it was this morning. There was oh, maybe it was just anyway at the top under the tree. Guy looped it in traditional fashion. Another guy came around, tried to dodge, turned tight to miss him, and looped it as well. And then this little BMW came through under yellow flag and just had to bloody thread the needle.
Yeah, that was yesterday, I think. A Commodore got absolutely destroyed, T-boned.
Yeah. So the first guy lost it, the other guy hit him, the other guy hit him, and then the guy threaded the needle, but then one guy didn't thread the needle. The Commodore flipped him.
They're coming from the same pub as well.
They've just had their Thai New Year over here, which is the water celebrations. They throw water at everyone to get pissed. In the 5 days of Songkran, 250 people died, 1,500 accidents, 80% were motorbikes. So we don't drive at night time. We don't
I go out on my motorbike, you know, and you go to all these wee rural towns, you stop and you have a cup of coffee or whatever. I never even get just one beer. Just like no alcohol while you're riding.
Yeah, the same usually.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brian.
All good.
back in a bit.
I had to turn you up, Steve. Very quiet. Is Steve quiet for anyone else?
Yes, pretty normal.
You probably turned me down last time you started talking.
I was in the middle. Unless this car is just really loud, I can't hear anything.
It's not a quiet car. Oh, I just fell through a hole of the garage and I'm flying, falling through the.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, don't drive into the garage. Just.
Where's it? Inflation.
140.
Anywho, choose your shot for the race, guys. As you all know, it's our Meatbag Memorial Race. Remembering James, aka Meatbag. This was the car track, well, they're probably a different version of this track, but this is the car track combo he got his one and only sim racing victory on, so that's why we're doing this combo this time. Don't think there's much more that needs to be said, to be honest. We're all here for one reason only, two reasons. To have fun whilst we're remembering Meatbag.
There's a nice message from James's mum, so thanks for posting that, Cobalt.
Yeah. I still update her every now and again.
Oh,
Yeah, it was nice.
it's painful that we lost him so young. He should have been here enthusiastically bothering us for another 10 years. At least, if not another 20, until the rest of us put dust on the ground. Anyway, guys, tonight we're doing 2 20-minute races. No mandatory pits or anything. It should basically be a full tank of gas for the race distance. Our safety car procedure, if we need it, it's going to be, excuse me, I was thinking 100, but I'm not sure if these cars will handle a safety car queue at 100, so we'll go for 80 and play it by ear. And our acceleration zone is going to be from the apex of the final corner through to the start line. Top 8 reverse grid, because I thought we were going to have more than 9, so I was intending to leave one person hang out to dry at the tank. But it is what it is.
I'll volunteer.
It's not the Hunger Games, mate. You don't need to volunteer, it's true.
No thanks, I'll probably steal it from you.
Feel free to say something if anyone wants to say something.
No, I think you've covered it all, mate.
Yep, thanks
To be
for
honest, I've
that.
actually lost track of how many years it is now. Is it 3 years?
Yeah, lost track. Could be, I think.
Yeah, it feels about.
I think so.
Feels like it, but also doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
I remember when we watched a few of us watched the replay of the funeral. Remember that, Steve? You were there, Funky as well, Pillars. I think I can't remember everyone that was there.
Yep.
And I remember him saying, "All stand." This is a week after the actual thing, but we all stood. I thought that was quite interesting.
That's not.
Yeah, I watched the whole replay of the race last night of that one that you posted up, Cobalt.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so I watched the whole thing,
Mm.
sitting there chilling out.
Would have been, yeah.
Had his own skin on his car and everything. He was so good at that.
I think he would have been a bit sweaty for those last couple of laps.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
I only recognised one name in there, which was that Ulf Wrightson.
Yeah. Win's a win.
It is indeed. Oh, you do well to hang on in these cars.
Yep.
Yes.
Should we crack on?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do it for me.
Here we go. Here we go,
Good luck.
everybody. Good luck.
All right, let's go.
just go behind you and I'll stay there. You're a bit quicker.
I was already got to them.
Let's all go left.
Staying left.
Did that work, Steve, you think?
Yeah.
I know I'm not quicker.
No, I'm no.
You go. Whoever's behind
my
me, you
mic's not
go.
working. There we go. I already decided to go left before you said to go left. Or to go right.
Go to Eric. There you go, Eric.
Okay, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Ah! Can't look up there. Well, that for me.
Jesus.
Fifth. All the timetables. Gem 37.3. Not bad by Funky.
Let's put your race fuel back in, load
What,
set up some
what is
load
my
jets,
race
everybody.
fuel? 20 minutes. Is it 20?
Taking fuel out make any difference?
Dunno.
Oh, I get a PB, but
It does if you take too much out.
Yeah, running 15 litres instead of 18 probably isn't gonna make that much of a difference.
Oh, what the hell? I didn't even check my tyres. Oh shit. Is it possible to check what my tyres were when I'm in the maintenance menu or whatever I'm in? Or is it too late for that?
what do you mean were?
Oh, just when I finished, when I crossed the line, I didn't look. I've got no idea what my tyre pressures
Yeah.
are.
Go to your gears tab and there's a car status at the top half of that. Those are your temp and pressures and stuff.
Yep, yep.
I don't know, that's probably current though actually.
Right.
With the default, I only had to drop the front right -1, and that was the only change I had to make from
Oh.
the default.
Oh, I didn't have default. I loaded some random.
I have no idea.
Yeah, one of Chris's old ones that I had.
I had
sitting
it
here.
set up that I started with, yeah, so I made some minor adjustments.
I think it was roughly okay within
My
my-
pressures are top left 20, top right top right. Let me try that again. Front left 20, front right 19, and the rear's 18s.
Oh,
Yes, I
yeah,
think I've got the same.
close enough.
I think I've got that sounds like mine.
Yeah, I'm about the same. That's all right. Rough enough within one.
Well, I didn't do mine.
You're trying to work out your fuel.
Steve's just hanging for the day where fuel actually carries over with the setup.
Oh no, I've got a fuel calculator. I
He
still
just doesn't use it.
It's called everyone else, isn't it?
yeah.
That's fuel calculator.
Is this a New Zealand track?
Yep.
Is it near anyone?
Steve is probably the closest. Still like 3-4 hours away, Steve.
Yep.
Lights up.
Lights up.
Good luck.
What? We're only halfway. I'm gonna lose fucking headphones.
Nice save, Ryan.
Thanks. Good thing the truck's 70 metres wide.
no.
Corner that cobalt.
Yeah, honestly, I took my eyes off the road to check my delta.
Funny enough.
Nice drive, Brian.
I just started work.
You keep Pills pretty honest and you stay on his toes.
Oh, I tried.
$16.
I'm back. My headset was dying, so it was beeping at me like every 10 seconds. That's really off-putting.
Yes.
Yeah, I was sitting in your car for the race. I thought something wasn't quite right.
Me, usually.
That was a good POV to watch the race between Brian and Pills.
Yeah, when I was up there, then I just couldn't keep up.
Yeah, no, they done well. But you still got a podium, but
What happened to you?
oh, I had a punt off. I don't know what happened, whether it was my fault or not, but yeah, ended up getting a punt off, turned around, and there's no way I was going to catch up, so I was just like, I'll sit and watch the race of this one. I just would have been Sunday driving by myself.
No, you wouldn't have.
What number's your car, Ryan?
It says car 8 on the livery, which I'm pretty sure yours is as well.
Oh, but I'm 8. You have to be 9. No, there's 2 number 5s as well. 3 number 5s.
I've lost wheel and pedals, guys. I'm going to have to do a restart. Hopefully I'm back.
Wait,
That's about-
Oh shit, am I second?
You
Third.
definitely need the full tank for these cars. They finished with about 2 litres.
Yep, same. So you're working at 10, Alex? How long for?
Well,
How long are you working for?
tomorrow,
Hmm.
as long as it takes.
What do you do? Roll out some lawn? Might buy half a radio with that. Still didn't check my tyres.
Monkey.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Oh shit. The wrong amount of fuel on me. Fuck. How long have I got? I'll cut out and try and come back in.
35 seconds.
Alright.
I went click drive till 2 seconds ago. Just to give you a shot.
You'll miss out once the lights come. If you're not in, you're not in. I think.
Fuel.
Lights up.
Yep.
Full tank, Steve.
Okay.
Oh, he's gone. That's great. Not down there, fellas. What's that? Oh,
What the? Like those cones are hard.
Yeah, I don't jump when I clip one, mate.
Hey,
I rolled over earlier today.
come past, I gotta go pitch.
Well, what'd you jump, buddy?
Where the hell is pitch?
To the right, just in the
Off with the last one.
Got it. Nah, the clutch let me down, gave me a dry through.
Oh, they clutched it, eh?
Yeah. Plus hit the cone, didn't help.
broke slightly early than I meant to. Sorry if that was on me.
No, drag cars, marshals, really.
again.
Whoa, whoa. Got me right at the end, bro.
It's close, wasn't it? Oh.
Wow.
These cars are awesome.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it more this time than previous times. The first time I drove it I thought it was awful.
And this time, it's possible.
Oh, I don't know, I just seem to get used to it. Don't know why. Just seem to be a lot more controllable. Maybe I just drove it with a different approach.
Come over here.
The slides seem pretty easy to capture,
Whoever wants,
except when you're looking at your delta and there's a corner coming up
whoever wants, I'm hosting the video.
and you go drive off into the grass, then it's probably not as easy to recover.
MJUR. MJUR. No, MJUI. MJUI.
But thank you again, Pillars, for putting this on, and everyone for turning up for Meatbag.
Of course, mate.
And I'm going to head off, and we'll see you next week.
See you, buddy.
Hopefully I'll see you guys next week at what track? Phillip Island. That'll
Yep.
be fun.
Yep.
Should be.
All right, we'll see you later.
See you, mate.
Pleasure.
All right, for anyone that watched or tuned into the stream, thanks for watching. Don't look at your relative when you're coming out to a corner. Doesn't matter, but that was very silly. Cost me second place then. Doesn't matter, but it's stupid. And thanks for tuning in to watch Meatbag Memorial. Yeah.